Hello and welcome to Prepare to Survive. I'm Kevin Baxter with Pinellas County Communications, and joining us today is Debbie Peck with Pinellas County Emergency Management. Debbie, thanks very much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
And Debbie will be here to talk about our emergency shelters for special needs residents in the county. So we'll talk about special needs shelters today, and first of all, we are actually in a special needs shelter at Oak Grove Middle School. So Debbie, what can people expect when they come to a special needs shelter? What's different about a special needs shelter versus any of the other shelters in the county?
Well, the difference with the special needs shelter is that they can receive limited medical care here. We have oxygen, or we will have oxygen, and if they're electrically dependent, we will have a generator here. That's one of the differences from a regular general population shelter.
And we've got 3 of those in the county.
Yes, we do.
So if someone does have to evacuate, is the shelter the first option they should consider?
Oh, absolutely not. They should first consider family, their friends, any civic organizations, their church. They should just see if there's anybody there, if they have a host home program that they can hunker down with, who's in a non-evacuation zone. They would be much more comfortable.
So speaking of that comfort level, what are the accommodations that someone would expect if they come to a special needs shelter?
They'll have a basic cot, a pillow, and a blanket, and we have approximately 300 cots available. However, we can shelter up to 2,000 people, I think, at each shelter. So first come, first serve, and bring an air mattress if you need to.
Yeah, that's something to just consider with your emergency kit at that point, to bring that along as well.
Exactly. People should not be under the impression that they're going to get a one-on-one nurse visit, because our nursing staff is going to have to be spread out through all the different special needs clients that we have here. So it won't be one-on-one service, if you will. And if they have backup oxygen on their own from their own oxygen company, they can go to a friend's house or a family member's house and be pretty much just fine.
And so we talked about the fact that there are 3 special needs shelters, obviously a very large population here in Pinellas County. So if somebody does decide that they need a space in a special needs shelter, it's not a matter of just being able to show up the day of evacuation necessarily, is it? Or how does that work?
Pre-registration is preferred. You can pre-register online. If you have a home health care nurse, they can pre-register for you. And they can call our office at 464-3800 and also request that a form be mailed to them.
So in addition, if someone has special needs, a lot of times they may have a caretaker with them, or even if they don't have a caretaker, they would want to be with their family when they're evacuating to a shelter. So are those people accommodated when a person with special needs is coming to a shelter?
Absolutely. We definitely recommend that they bring a caretaker with them, so that way they can help get the care that they need when they need it.
And another type of family member for folks is the furry type of family member, dogs and cats. And it just so happens that the shelter that we are in today is also a pet-friendly shelter. But how does that work if someone wants to arrange for accommodations for their pet?
On the form, there is a question regarding animals. Do you have a pet? If you do, please check yes, and we will automatically forward your form over to Animal Services to make arrangements. It is preferable that you try to find a family or friend to make arrangements with your pet, because your pet will be more comfortable with somebody that they know.
And so at that point, when someone contacts Animal Services, then what's that next step in terms of the arrangements that would typically take place?
Depending or not whether they can transport themselves or they have to be picked up. If they can transport, Animal Services will recommend that they drop the pet off at their facility when an evacuation is called for. And if they need transportations, then Animal Services will pick that animal up as soon as they can prior to your leaving your home to go to a special needs shelter.
And speaking of transportation, a good segue. For the individual, some people may or may not have access to, may not be able to drive, may not have access to a car. So what does someone with special needs do if they need to evacuate to a special needs shelter and they don't have that ability?
Again, on our form, it will ask you if you need transportation, yes or no. If so, please say yes. And when we forward that to your fire department, they will get school buses and then be able to come out and pick everybody up who has declared that they need transportation to a shelter.
So you just fill that out on the form. That seems to be the answer to a couple of these here. Just
Absolutely.
hit that spot on the form, and,
Yeah.
And it'll be taken, moved forward to the right place.
That form has a wealth of information that I pass along to the Department of Health as well as the fire department. And Animal Services, of course, if there's a pet involved. So it's real important that we get that information as detailed as possible.
Mm-hmm. And so moving to the shelter, or whether someone evacuates to the shelter or not, we still want to make sure that everyone in the county has an emergency kit prepared. Now, someone with special needs might have a few extra things to consider when they're putting together their emergency kit.
We definitely want to make sure that they have, I would say at least 2 weeks of medication, because you never know what's going to happen. If they're diabetic and they have to take insulin and it has to be chilled, then they should bring a cooler for that insulin as well. Bring some snacks, bring some food for any special diet that you may have, and definitely bring something to do, whether it be a crossword puzzle or a book or an adult coloring book. Just something to keep you busy and pass the time.
As well, with the kits, we're also talking about for people to have those kits ready if they do evacuate to somewhere else, evacuate to a friend's house or another location. So that's something that you want to have ready to go at all times and able to grab and go really as you're heading out.
I say before the beginning of hurricane season, because you can start all year long just keeping canned goods or candies or whatever that you're going to want, so you don't have to buy it all at one time.
Mm-hmm. And so another thing that someone should keep in mind before they evacuate is keeping in touch with your network of family members, friends, loved ones, things like that. How do you go about doing that?
Most people have cell phones, but my first recommendation is even if you have a landline, call before you leave your home. Let them know that you're leaving to go to a shelter and which shelter it is. That way they won't be worried about you when you're gone and they can't contact you. If for some reason we actually did get hit with a storm and the cell towers did go down, they can still contact you by text message.
So you brought the Hurricane Guide with you today, so what can people do to get more information?
Well, for more information, they can go online to pinellascounty.org/emergency, and we actually have the guide online. If they would like a paper copy of it, they can feel free to go to any government office, local libraries, the fire departments, and they should have a copy available to them there. In any county office, actually.
And that website's also where they can find the form
Yes.
that we've been talking about.
And they can fill out a digital online registration form. Will it come straight to our inbox?
All right, Debbie, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us on Prepare to Survive. Remember, if you have any questions, email us at ema@pinellascounty.org. For more information about hurricane preparedness, visit us online at pinellascounty.org/emergency. And for more videos, including other editions of Prepare to Survive, go to our YouTube channel. Thanks again for joining us today. I'm Kevin Baxter, and remember, prepare to survive.